I'm Steve. Look, tomorrow we're going to jump head first into the world of futures. But before we even think about going there, we need to stop and have a very serious conversation about margin. This is the foundation, and if it's cracked, everything else comes crumbling down.
So many traders look at a margin account and they see free money. They see a way to buy more stock. I don't see that at all. When I look at margin, I see a debt. A very serious debt that can take your house if you don't treat it with respect. This is not a game. It is a high-stakes financial tool, plain and simple.
So, if you're going to use this tool, you have to know the rules of the game. And really, it all boils down to two critical numbers. You absolutely have to know these inside and out.
Okay, first up on the left, you've got initial margin. The easiest way to think about this is it's your down payment. For stocks, it's usually about 50%. It's what gets you in the trade. But the one on the right, that's the one you need to be obsessed with, maintenance margin. This isn't about getting in. This is all about staying in the trade. This right here, this is the floor. It is your broker's absolute line in the sand. If your equity, that's the part of the account that is actually yours, if that drops below this number, you are in a world of hurt. This is the single number that, if you ignore it, can completely wipe you out.
All right, so let's talk about that nightmare scenario. Let's talk about what happens when this powerful, double-edged sword of leverage turns and points right back at you. You're going to want to pay close attention here, because this is a lesson you do not want to learn the hard way.
It's a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's brutal. What actually happens in those moments after your equity dips below that 30% floor? What does your broker do then?
So let's just walk through an example. This is what I call a danger zone account. You start with 50 grand of your own money, and you borrow another 50 from the broker to control $100,000 worth of stock. You've maxed out, used 100% of your buying power. Then, the market tanks. It drops 25%. Your account's now worth $75,000, but you still owe the broker that 50 grand, which means your actual equity has been slashed to just $25,000. And look at that percentage, 28.5%. You just crossed the line. And in that exact second, the relationship you have with your broker completely changes. They are not your partner anymore. They are a lender, and their one and only priority is getting their money back.
This is what's called a forced liquidation. Your broker starts selling your positions right then. You get no say in what they sell or when they sell it. And believe me, they are not trying to get you a good price. They're dumping your stock into a falling market at the absolute worst possible time. And the final insult, if the sale doesn't cover the loan, you are still on the hook for the difference.
Okay, that's the nightmare. So how do we avoid it? How do we use this powerful tool without it blowing up in our face? Let's talk about building a simple safety net, one that actually lets you sleep at night. Here it is. This is the most important rule I follow when it comes to margin. It's my personal rule, and it is dead simple. I never, ever use more than 50% of my available buying power. If my broker tells me I can borrow $100,000, in my head, the real number is 50. That buffer, that is everything.
Now let's run that exact same scenario again, but this time with our SAFE account. You've got the same 50 grand of your own cash, but this time you only borrow 25,000, half of what's available. Now that same brutal 25% market drop hits. Your account value falls, of course, but look at your equity percentage. It's at 55.5%. You're not even close to that 30% danger zone. You have breathing room, you have a cushion. You can weather the storm and make a rational choice instead of being forced out.
But look, just avoiding a margin call is only half the battle. There is another danger, a more subtle one, that we have to talk about. I call it the margin interest trap, and it's a silent killer of your returns.
You have to remember, that loan from your broker is not free. Every single day that you're holding a position on margin, you are paying interest. And that interest payment is like an anchor. It's a constant, heavy drag on your performance that you have to overcome just to break even.
So you're in a race you didn't even know you were running. If your margin interest rate is, say, 8% a year, well, your investments don't just have to make money. They have to make more than 8% just for you to see any benefit from that leverage. You're not just trying to beat the market anymore. You also have to beat your broker's interest rate. It's a high bar, and it just quietly eats away at your profits over time. I want to leave you with this one thought. Leverage is a tool. Think of it like a chainsaw. In the right hands, it's incredibly powerful. It'll help you clear the forest and build something amazing. But if you stop paying attention just for 1 second, if you lose respect for what it can do, it will take your leg off. It is that simple and it is that serious. Everything we've discussed today. That's the risk with the standard 2-to-1 leverage you get with stocks. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about futures where the leverage isn't 2-to-1. It can be 20-to-1 or even higher. So the question you need to ask yourself tonight is this. If this is the risk with stocks, are you truly prepared for the power and the danger that comes with futures? We'll find out next time.